Hi everyone, welcome back to Plum Mashable. So today's video is going to be a little bit about the Couture Creations Go Press and Foil machine, plus a few examples and trying different things. So if you're interested in foiling, then just keep watching. So if you've been here for a little while, you know I have tried basically every way of foiling that is humanly possible. I have tried foiling with toner ink, I have tried foiling with my Cricut, both with the We Are Memory Keepers foil quill and with the Cricut foil nib, whatever it was called. I've also tried with the freestyle foiler, and nothing I do ever gives me perfect results. And that's okay to a certain extent. I'm okay with that. This is the way of foiling that I've always seen, that I've gone, oh, that always gives good results. And it's been around for a really long time. This is a heat and press foil machine, so it's going to heat things up, which is part of making it stick, but then it does the pressure as well, which we run through a die machine. I'll show you all of that in just a sec. It's just a different way of foiling, but it also allows you, now that all these companies are coming out with hot foil stamps and things, now seems to be a really good time to give this a go. The cool thing about this kind of machine is it doesn't just work for your foiling or hot foil stamps. It also works for your, hot foil stamps. It also does work with your standard dies, which I haven't tried yet, but I'm going to give a go today. So let's have a look at the machine itself first. So this is what it looks like. It's got these little sucky cups on the end, so it does stay on your desk. I do like that it's actually easy to get up and move. This is now moved into my top drawer of my desk where my heat tool is, so that I can just pull it out and it stays plugged. Well, it doesn't stay plugged in, but it stays nearly plugged in. So on the end here, hold on, let's just do one thing at a time. So this is the heating apparatus, I guess. It's actually really light. It's not heavy at all. It's got a little button here at the end. It's got the heating mechanism at the back. And that's basically it. It's got non-slip little things at the edge here, so it doesn't run around your desk. It's nice. And then this is the actual, I'm going to call it a plate. I don't think it's necessarily called that, but we'll go plate. This is where it plugs in at the back. It's got some stickers on it. That's all heat proof at the bottom. It just slides in here, and that's where it gets the power to heat up. It then has a fold open kind of grid plastic, which has got all the grids on it, so you can use it to line things up. They line up perfectly with the heating mat, and that's just a like a rubbery heating mat kind of thing. This does lay flat if you pull it out, or very close to flat if you pull it out, but obviously in the machine it doesn't. So what I'm going to do, plug it in properly, and you'll see the little red light goes on. That just means that it's on. It doesn't mean that it's heating up, it just means that it's on. I take it out of the power on purpose, because if I put this away, I don't want to accidentally have something happen and it start heating up and burn my office down. So I always just make sure it's unplugged, but then to start the heating off, you just hit that button and it starts to flash, and that means that it's heating up. So I'm just going to put this off to the side and let it heat up. While we're waiting, I'm just going to tell you a couple of other things that come in the box. You get a metal shim. I haven't quite worked out what to use this for yet. I'm sure someone will tell me, but in my experience so far I haven't had to use it. I've got my warranty, I've got more information, and I have my instructions. I like to use instructions. I like to make sure I'm right. I'm just looking here and going, what else do you need? Metal conversion plate. So that's hot foiling with cut and foil machines. Okay, righto. Well, I haven't done that yet. But anyway, the two that so far, the one that I have done is hot foiling with hot foil stamps, and I want to try hot foiling with cutting dies today. They're the two that we're going to use. The other one thing you are going to need is a couple of pieces of cardboard as a shim. Now what I have done, hold on, one more thing before we go to what I've done. These are the hot foil plates that I have. Sorry, there's only three. This is the Pinkfresh Studio Diagonal Stripes hot foil plate. It is beautiful. This is the solid one, and I'll show you what both of those do in just a second. And then these are the small butterflies. These, and I've got the dies that match. Absolutely gorgeous. And to show you what they do, so this is what that Diagonal Stripes ones does. This was me experimenting. This one here is just with the machine and no metal plate. And when I talk metal plate, I'm talking this one here from Craft. I just felt it needed a bit more oomph, and I'm using this instead of using more shims, because I do I did add extra shims to this one just to make sure that I got it. So this has got 2 shims to protect the top, but no metal plate on the bottom. This one's got 2 shims at the top and a metal plate at the bottom. I found that this gave much better results, and I really love it. Oh, does that just make you happy? The gold is still really good. It's not bad, but it's got this little bit on the end, so this just gives you a much better result. Other thing that I have pulled these out and done is foiled some of these gorgeous little butterflies. Now this hot foil stamp also comes as a stamp, which then lines up with the dies, but it also lines up with the stencil set, which is how I was able to colour these in. Just coloured them in using Distress Oxide. I have a video coming up in a couple of weeks where I'm going to go through my backgrounds box and I'm going to make a bunch of cards using that box. These are going to go in that box because I'm going to use these as sort of focal points. Just stunning. And I love, and it's unfortunate that you guys can't feel what I can feel, but it does give a debossed feel, and it feels really nice in the hands. It's the same thing with these. If you run your finger across the back, it just feels nice. I really do like it. And then that hot foil plate, the solid one, what you do with this is you take your reverse. So this was the foiling of this one here. So you can see that fits in there perfectly. That's what I used. If you put this down, you heat this hot foil up and you put this on top and run it through, you get the reverse. Now what I did was did that with the butterflies and some silver, and that's what I got. Now I don't know how I'm going to use this yet. It's also going to go in my backgrounds box, but you can see the foiling is pretty flawless. It's pretty good. You get a really nice coverage. I found that sometimes you get a little bit of extra foil in certain places. You can just rub that off with an eraser or a brush and it works. Pardon me. And it works really nicely. So there's just a couple of examples before we go playing with these, because I am going to show you a bunch of examples here as well. Other things I would highly suggest that you do have on hand is like a heat-proof mat of some kind. This is just a mouse pad. I do have a heat-proof mat that I use for my Cricut Easy Press, so I can use that if I want to. I've got all of my foil plates here that I'm going to show you. I'm going to do one of the diagonal stripes and then one of the solids. And then I also have here, I want to try with my Sunburst backdrop from Fawn, my Uniquely Created Candy Stripe cover plate, and I also want to try with some of my Sizzix Thinlets. I think these are going to work out really pretty. And then I have a bunch of foil. Now when you buy the machine, you get a little bit of plain gold and silver, but when I bought the machine I did make a whole big thing of making sure that I bought a bunch of foil here. So I have a whole heap of different colours. I've got silver, I've got holographic, I've got green, I've got blue, and I've got a couple of reds. So we're going to try some different colours as we go here. Now I'm just grabbing my foil, my die cut machine down because I am going to need that as well here. But let's start off with the simple one. So I'm going to grab, where is it? We'll grab the diagonals. Now these are really heavy, and that's why they sort of do cost a little bit more if you, if you do decide to follow me down this rabbit hole. You will find that these are a little bit more expensive depending on where you get them from. I think for what they are, they're okay. They're not too much more expensive than a die, so I think it's alright. So what you do is you bring in your, it's now gone green, so it's all ready to go. You lift this up and you put your hot foil stamp down onto the actual matte words, and then you just hit that green one again and it's going to go red again. I think you can put this in beforehand. I've just had a brainwave. I don't think I've waited so long before. So I'm just going to put that on again so it's flashing, and that'll heat that up. It'll go green in just a second. In the meantime, we can get our background ready to go, our foil ready to go. So I'm going to grab this green one. This one's called Mint Green Foil with a mirror finish. I thought these would be really hard to find. I actually think they're pretty simple. I think I need to double check at my Spotlight again. I haven't been to Spotlight for a couple of weeks. But I think you can get them at Spotlight. I know you can get them at Lincraft. So I'm just finding the end there. I'm just getting the tape off. So this is my Paper Stop Smooth Cardstock. I will link it down below because I've been finding it gets me really nice results. So you open this up, you put your green or you put your foil in, and you put that pretty side down, and then you put your cardstock on top. Now I just like A5 because it means I can cut it down. And then you close that off. You're going to need just a plate, and then for me I'm going to need my metal shim at the bottom, and then I'm going to need my cardboard shims at the top. These are just like cheap packaging cardstock, and it's just to protect the top when you roll it through. So I'm undoing that. Oh no, I don't need the platform, that's right. See, I told you I haven't done this very many times. So I need just the heating platform, a metal plate at the bottom, and then my shims at the top. And then I'm just going to roll this through my die cut machine. Now you don't want to hear cracks. Cracks are bad. But you just want to roll that through. That didn't even go through with the metal. If it doesn't work, if the metal doesn't go through with it, just roll it through again. And it's just for a little bit of extra pressure. It's not required, but I found it gave me better results. That's the metal, not the die thing. It will get a little bit folded, but that's okay. So put that back over to the side there. Take off the shims. We'll take this out. Now I'm just going to be careful because it will be warm. Whoops, didn't even give me a chance to do the reveal. That's sad. So I'm just going to pick up that foil. Don't throw the foil away. Don't throw the foil away. Now I'm going to take this straight off now because I want to be able to heat the other one up while I'm waiting. You can get tweezers. The next time I'm at Picture Page I will get some tweezers to be able to do that. So I'm going to put that back on there and let it heat back up again, and I'm going to put on the solid plate while we're waiting because I'm going to do the other two. So exactly the same thing, solid plate on, and that's heating up. And then let's have a look at this. Oh, dog hair. How good's that? That hasn't got as much pressure. I think it's because I didn't push so hard, but that's really good still. Can you see where I'm going with some of these? These are going to be Christmas cards. Absolutely Christmas cards. So there we go. That's using the two shims and the metal plate underneath. I think you can probably do it with just the two shims and not the metal plate. But for me, I feel like the metal plate's just going to give me some nicer results. So I'm going to keep doing that. Now, as with any foiling, in my experience, it's the cardstock that makes the difference. And that's why if you find a cardstock that works, highly recommend staying with that cardstock. Because it just makes life easier. As a bit of an experiment, just because we're here together, I'm just going to grab in, this is just my plain quill cardstock. I want to try it and see what it does. This is sort of not a great example of a foil bit anyway, so I'm going to use this one. And we're going to try this to see exactly what happens. So same thing as before, we open that up. We line that up on the plate. There we go. We put that bit of cardstock in. Close that. Shims. Pull it out. Don't worry about that metal plate curling, it'll fix itself eventually. And then we roll that through. This one's stuck, so it's going to allow me to do the reveal, which I love so much. I'm going to put this back on because I also want to do that with the other stripe. So you can see it's stuck. And there's your reverse. Now see, it hasn't done so well on this side. I think that's where it didn't have the shim underneath. So you get that whole reversing, and this one's completely flat because that foil, that plate is completely flat. So there's no pressure, the pressure is different on that plate. I don't know if I ran that through again if it would get me what I wanted, so I'm not going to try. Oh, you know what, let's try. Let's see what happens. I just don't think I'm going to be able to line it up very well. Alright, let's see what happened. Yeah, no. I didn't line it up very well. I didn't think I would. So it still hasn't, it's done better. It's picked up most of that foil now. But obviously now it looks a bit funny. I think it's got more to do with the cardstock than the other. So let's do that one more time. This time I'm going to use my smooth cardstock from Paper Stop, and we'll use that background of the green one. So I'm just going to let that heat up again, which I think it already is. If that's green, it's generally good to go. Cardstock. Now I'm done with this one now, so I'm just going to push this over to the other one. This one's cool already. It really doesn't take long for them to cool down. Just be careful, because obviously they are very, very hot, and that one might take longer because it's a bit bigger. In the meantime, before I do this reveal, let's have a go with one of these cutting ones. So I want to try, do I want to try the Sunburst or the Stitched Ripple? We'll do the ripple because we'll do it in blue. I think it'll look beautiful. Just taking this bit of tape off while I'm here. So same thing we did just before. We're going to put that down on the machine and let it heat up and do its thing. We're going to have a look at this one while we're waiting. Okay. There's not perfection there, but that's still really nice. Oh, I like that. That reverse is actually really cool. Like if you have a look at the two sides up to each other, they're very cool. Oh, yay! So I'll leave all my examples up there and we'll come back to have a look at them in the end. Okay, so now I'm going to get some blue. I'm going to use this one. This is Cyan Foil Iridescent Sparkle. In other words, it's going to look like a pool, which is what I want. Now, I haven't done this before. This is the first time I'm trying with one of my own dyes. I've been very hesitant to try this. Not because I'm worried or anything, but I kind of don't understand how it's not going to cut. I assume it's because there's not enough pressure. But I'm just really nervous, so we'll just see. It's not a, yeah, anyway, let's have a look. So my instructions say you need the standard wafer thin dye of your choice, heat evaporated foil and cardstock, do everything exactly the same, lift up the heating plate, place cardstock. It says to just do it exactly the same. What I'm going to do as a bit of a protective measure, just to make sure that it doesn't do anything it's not supposed to. Oh, there's something stuck on there. So pretty side down. Come here. Got a bit static and it's stuck to my finger. That's right. I'm just going to pop my shims on the inside. I'm just nervous that it's going to cut, and I don't want it to. So I'll just put the shims on the inside instead, and then we'll run this through. I can't hear cutting, so I think that's good. It doesn't feel like as much pressure this time though. So we'll have a look, and if we need to, we can add more shims. So I'm just being careful. I can see it's pushed through. Now this will be obviously a lot more subtle than the other one. I can see that it's pushed through, definitely. But because they're such little lines, it won't be anywhere near as much. Oh, wow! Alright, it's not giving me, and it's because it's so subtle, I get that. It's not giving me the lines like I thought it would. They are very, very, very subtle. But you just don't get quite the metallic part that I hoped I would. I do want to run that. Not yet, I'll do it all at the end. I do want to run that through a machine and see what it gives me in the opposite. Alright, so that works. It just doesn't quite work like I thought it would. It's maybe a little more subtle than I thought. That's okay. Let's try this Candy Stripes one. I'm going to try this one in red. I'm just having fun with all my different coloured foils now. Put that on there and let that heat up. We'll get some red. No, that's pink. I'm just going to try just a plain red. So this is red foil pastel matte finish. Oh, that's interesting. Now, this is me being pedantic. I'm just going to get rid of, not rid of, but put that in my foiling excess pile. Does that not look like a red carpet? So, same as before. That in on top. Put my cardstock. And then put my shims. Now what I am going to do this time, and close that off, just grabbing a piece of cardstock package. This is probably a bit thicker than I need. We'll just see. Actually, we might do this in reverse. So I'm just cutting this down so that it's not quite so big. Because otherwise it won't run through the machine. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those shims out and put that shim in. And then run it through with these on the top with the metal plate. This is where the more you can play, the more you can experiment, the better your results are going to be, because you're going to know what works and what doesn't. And again, because we've put that cardstock in, I know that it's not going to damage my plate or anything. If worse comes to worse, all it's going to do is go through that bit of cardstock. But it hasn't. It has made a bit of an impression there, I'm not going to lie, but that's still going to be good to use for other things. So I'm not heating that back up, I'm just putting it there for a sec. Actually no, let's do the right thing. I want to try one more different thing. I want to try with those single little dies, and then we'll try the reverses of all of them. So these are the Sizzix Thinlets Wildflowers, I think that's what they're called. Wildflowers 2. So same as before, we just put them, is it that way? Yeah, I can't remember. No. Cutting side up, I did know that. Now they do say on the box to only do one at a time for precision's sake. I'm just happy to, because I'm just experimenting. I'm quite happy to just do this way and just see what happens. And we just move those around. I'm just going to have one more. Now these aren't going to give, like these are just going to do the outline. So it's not going to be anything super duper fancy. But I just want to see what it looks like. I just want to see what it looks like. Alright, that's heating. I'm actually so excited for this. This is going to be good. I think this is going to be good. Now, I'm just going to show you this. So this is what I mean with the, if there's like excess foil. So hold on, let's have a look here. Oh, it's a little bit not good. But I'm going to grab just a little brush. This is a little one that I've got from Dawn. And see how I can just rub off that excess? So it's all coming off. It's not stuck, it's just there. So maybe there was too much pressure. Alright, I'm going to try that again. Because I really want that one to work. I feel like it's going to give me a really cool, subtle background. Okay, so I did that wrong. We've learnt something. I'm going to foil everywhere. But also just as a little aside, if you have like a big chunk like this, grab yourself a sand eraser and just give it a rub and it will come off. So if you do have a big chunk sort of in the middle, see, there we go, look how good's that. That's coming off. I'm actually just going to just so that you guys can see. It doesn't do anything to the foil that's in the really deep bit, but it does take off that little light bit that's sitting on the top. Okay, I'm going to try that again in a second. That one's going to be a write-off for the reverse because I got so much of the other foil, so that's okay. This one needs a little bit more foil, just a little bit more spread out across the whole board there. So we'll put foil in, same way we've done with all the others. My bit of cardstock. And then this time I've still got those 2 shims. I'm going to use those again and put those on the inside here. Then I grabbed 2 extras. So this is the same kind of cardboard. It's just from the backing of a Kmart frame. I'm going to run this through. Oh, metal shim. Metal shim. Alright. Let's see what we got here. Now in the meantime, oh no, I'll do it in a sec. This one's going to be a bit more complicated to get all of the bits off. Okay. So nothing's cut through there, which is nice. I just want to leave it on because I want to be able to see. They're actually not too bad. They're hot, but they're not like scalding. Tweezers would still be better. I'm going to heat that candy stripe one up again. And we're going to try that with the slightly less pressure. This is fun. I could just sit here and foil all day. Ooh. That's pretty. That's going to look really good on the reverse too. So, you can see here what I mean with these little lines. So this is where that sand eraser comes in handy. So if this was part of the pattern, you can just rub it away. Is it perfect? No. Is it going to make it 100% disappear? No. But it's going to get most of it to the point that it'll save it. And I'll show you with some close-ups sort of how much I have been able to erase certain parts of that. That is really pretty. If you put those in the right spot, and you can definitely see the metal, the foil on that one. Some of the others, I'll admit, like this one, you can't quite see it. Oh, you can. When it hits the light, you can. This one's very pretty though, so we'll see in a minute what that looks like in the reverse. So what I'll do the candy stripe one more time with that same combination of plates that we just used, and then I'll go ahead and do all of the reverses sort of off camera quickly so that you guys don't have to sit through them all, and then I'll come back and show you all of them. So we'll just do this last one together. I think that I've got the hang of this now. It's actually not that difficult. I always thought it would be really hard. The hardest part is honestly keeping these flat. Now obviously I'm trying not to touch that too hard. That's that one. Need the shims. The shims and the metal. Again, this isn't damaging my metal plate at all. And the reason I'm using this one and not using the one that came with it, I wish you guys could feel the difference in weight. Because this one is just like heavy. Like, hold on. I don't know if you guys can tell the difference just by hearing, but it's an insane difference, and I don't want to damage that one because I don't think I could fix it. Whereas the Craft one, if I can't fix it, it's not that expensive and not that hard to get hold of another one. And I don't know how expensive or hard the other one would be. So I just want to protect that one if I can. This is my little cheats way, just if you hadn't worked it out. Use the base of your scissors. Alright, so I'm going to heat this one up because this is going to be the last one we use, so back to that the solid one. The solid one's an extra purchase. I need to make that clear. I bought that one because I knew I could do all these reverses, and I feel like the reverses are going to give me something completely different that I think will be a lot of fun. So I'm hoping. I already think it's a great investment. I think it's something cool because you can also then, all these colours of foil, I can now have my own foil paper. I can just have like a flat piece. I don't even have to do anything with them. Okay. Oh, that's better. Oh. And again, it's very subtle. You can see that it's supposed to be a matte finish, this one, I think. So I'm quite happy with that. I think that looks really cool. I cannot wait to see the reverse. The reverse is going to be amazing. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and do all of the reverses, and I'll come back and show you the results. So we're going to have the reverse of the candy stripes on the red, the stitching, the reverse of the flowers. Was that it? Were they all the reverses? I feel like I'm missing a reverse. No, that must be it, because the other ones didn't work. So I'm going to do those reverses, and I'll be right back. So I have all of mine now. I have all of my things all cooling down over there. So let's go and have a look back before we do these reveals, because this is going to be fun. Just making sure I've got them all. Alright, so we had our standard foiling plate. So this was the actual plate itself, the stripy one. Absolutely beautiful results there with the green. I love that. And then you had the reverse, so using that solid plate. I don't want to pick it up because it's still hot. Not perfect, but I think that's enough. And I think I found the right combination now with the different shims and stuff. I think the way I'm going to do it from now on is you put the plate, the metal thing. Oops, sorry, that's still heating up. Here we go. I'm going to put the foil plate on the mat, then put the foil, the paper, 2 shims, and then close it, and then put the metal shim on the top. I did try to do, and then when I'm using a die machine, put 2 more metal shims on the outside. I did try and do the 4 paper shims on the cutting one for the solid one for, I think it was the flowers, and I think it's going to give me too much. So we'll just wait and see. But that's using the Pinkfresh Studio Solid, the Stripes hot foil plate. Oh, so pretty. I adore that. That's so good. And then that was the reverse of that gold one, using just the solid plate. Then we have, I'm going to do these together because it's going to be cool. So we've got that stitching detail of the water. I love that you get the border too. That's just part of anything that's going to cut or pierce is going to give you that where the foil is going to get stuck. But then let's have a look at the reverse. Again, this is going to be probably very subtle. It'll be big and bold, but the foiling, like the, oh, check that out. Can you guys see how good that is? I'm hoping you can see the stitching, because it is there. There's one little bit down the bottom that's not completely perfect. I think there might have been a dog hair or something stuck. Something was stuck there. But that's really cool. I love that when you move that in different ways, because this is holographic. I think that was what it was called. Sign for Iridescent Sparkles. When you move it, you lose the stitching and then it comes back, so it looks like waves. It's really cool. Obviously that would look beautiful in silver and stuff as well. So you go, you've got the 2, like the standard and then the reverse. Then we'll have a look at these flowers. This is the one where I think I've gone too hard. So you've got the standard flowers on one side. This can be done with any die cut, any die that you've got. If you've got the ones that cut out critters, obviously those probably aren't going to be so useful unless they've got really cool shapes to them. But if you've got like little cut apart ones, if you've got circles, oh my god, what you could do with infinity dies. Ideas popping out of my brain. Anyway, let's have a look at the reverse of this one. Ooh. Oh, that's pretty. There's some bits there that hasn't quite, but overall, that's pretty good. And it's picked up a little bit of this one at the top. I was hoping it would go through and not pick it up, but it did. But that's alright. That's cool. Oh. And then last but not least, oh sorry, I'm also going to grab these ones here from the original testings. That one here is the Candy Stripes die. I love the Candy Stripes die from Uniquely Creative. It's so good. for so many different things. Great for cross checks too if you ever want to try that. This is the one that I'm so excited to try. Oh no. It's close. It's close. Now that's a, ooh. That gives a pretty, even with that not quite perfect, I think. Now I just want to try this. Because the part about it that I think makes it look weird. Yeah, I just need to get this in the right spot. I'm always one of these people that I will cut further away and then come closer in to make sure I get it right. There we go. I think it looks weird because it's the like the boxes of stripes, if that makes sense. When I cut this down, I think it'll look better because it will just look like the stripes. That's better. See, automatically, it now doesn't look like the boxes. It just looks like the stripes. And that's cool. Oh, if that had been perfect, it would have been absolutely amazing. I think I'll have to try again with that one because I think that gives such a cool result with all that metal. And I love that matte kind of finish. So good. Alright, well there's all of my experimenting with my new Go Press and Foil machine from Couture Creations. There are lots of different foil machines on the market. This is the one that I can get in Australia. The Glimmer machine, which works with the Spellbinders, we can't get it here. I don't know. I think it's got something to do with the power outlets. The biggest advice I'm going to have for anyone that's living in Australia that wants a foil machine, make sure you get one that's got an Australian plug on it, because the converters and things are never going to give you the best results. They're always going to be slightly different because our wattages are different here in Australia than they are in the States. So make sure you get one that's got an Australian plug on it. I do know that these machines are now a lot easier to get. They have been difficult to get your hands on for the last 18 months or so. Not because of demand or anything, but just because we haven't been able to ship them here because of COVID and all the things and bits and pieces. They are now available. I know that I'll link down below to a couple of different places you can get your hands on them if you're interested. There's plenty of foil around, and there are more and more and more plates and hot foil stamps and stuff that are coming onto the market. But remember, you can use what you've already got. Like, if you don't have hot foil plates, if you don't want to get hot foil plates, get just the solid one. Like this to me is a staple. You have to have this if you're going to play with foil, because it just doubles the amount of use you're going to get out of each piece of foil. But everything else, you can just use what you've already got. Is it going to give you perfect results? No. But are you going to get good results? Yeah, you are. And you're going to make some really cool cards with it. And like I said, stay tuned. In the next week or so, I'm going to do my background box. I'm going to pull all those out, and some of these might make an appearance in that. If you guys have any more questions about foiling, I am not an expert. Hands up, not an expert. But I'm happy to try things and experiment for you and make the mistakes so that you don't have to. So if there is something you'd like to see, please leave it for me down below. Make sure you're following me on all of my socials. I'm so excited to play with this. I'm very, very excited to get the Lawn Fawn. They've got the the winter scripty words. I've got that hot foil plate set coming. That one I'm really excited about because I'm really excited to play with like word dies. And then from there, I'm hoping that I can get my hands on some happy birthdays and bits and pieces like that. Very excited to see where hot foiling is going to go, because I have a feeling it's going to completely blow up the craft world, and it's going to be great. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on my socials. I hope you have an absolutely awesome, awesome, awesome rest of your day, and I will catch you again in my next video. Sending lots of huggles. Bye!